Welcome to Wine Vault TV, New Zealand's most passionate internet wine show. Next to me I've got winemaker extraordinaire Carol Bunn. She's laughing already. Camera shy apparently.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay.
And the reason why I said that is because you've been making wine for 15 years?
Yes.
For various different people?
I have,
and
yes.
now you're pretty much solely with Locharburn?
Yes, yeah. I've got two winemaking clients now at Locharburn and Mitre Rocks, but today we're here with Locharburn and we're launching their new label and their new...
Which I've got to say, it's a big improvement from the last one.
Yes, it's got Jenny's artwork on it.
At the bottom?
Yes, Jenny and Chris Hill, the owners of Locharburn.
Across the bottom?
And Jenny's a textile artist, and
right, okay.
so she...
A weaver?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mix me.
Well, she takes photos and rips them up and does all sorts of things
right,
with them.
okay.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and so this label here is all about the scenery and the environment where they live in, and it's basically true to the terroir of the place. So there's schist in it, and there's leaves from the vineyard, and it's sort of expressing all the nice sort of autumny colours of Central Otago.
And we're going to do two wines. First of all, the winemaker's delight, Sauvignon Blanc, from Central rather than Marlborough.
Yes.
I say that most winemakers are a bit bored with Sauvignon by now.
Well, in Central Otago we really don't make much Sauvignon.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and we love to say that we really, you know, Sauvignon is maybe not our most favourite grape variety, but I think in Central Otago I've really enjoyed making this. It's got an array of fruit flavours and aromas right through from the sort of more herbaceous sort of herbal notes, green capsicums, gooseberries, and then right through to the tropical fruit. So it's the first vintage for this wine. And
you've gone back to your winemaking roots, as such.
Yes.
So you're just, rather than making 20 people's wines, you're now solely back there, understanding from vineyard to kind of bottling.
Yeah, and then through to the sales and marketing. Like,
do you enjoy that part?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Does that mean going out to see everybody in the trade and industry?
Well, I think yes, you've got to really understand the wines and the vineyards. I think the part of it is, or a big part of it, is finding out what people like and then telling your story about Locharburn and why it's, you know, why we're here. And we did that yesterday, and it was great. We got to tell the story about the vineyard and Jenny and Chris, and also the wines, and then you get the feedback. So, which
I always think is really important, the story of not only the region but also the kind of winery and the people behind it, so that people understand it.
Yes.
And get a much kind of more comprehensive idea of why the wine is made. Yeah. What's special about Locharburn?
Lochaburn's on a really special site. It's about 18 k's north of Cromwell on the Wanaka-Cromwell Highway, and it's on an elevated terrace above the road, and so it has a really nice aspect. It gets the morning sun quite early, and it has the scenery around it's beautiful, and it's named for the Locharburn, or the little stream that comes from the top of the Pisa range behind it.
Right, okay.
And I just think it's a really special site, and it gives a really nice, through the white and the red wines, you have a really nice mineral consistency, and a really nice sort of herbal thread through the wines, and sort of like dried herbs, and I call it like the silver thread of the wines. So you're getting quite complex fruits. You're just not getting big punchy fruits, and you're getting and it's quite consistent in different vintages as well.
Because that's always been my complaint about Central Otago. It does produce higher alcohol wines, and also kind of, especially from that Bannockburn region, really jammy, preservative, kind of plummy, fruity, sweet wines. Well,
yes, we have like a number of different sub-regions, especially in the Cromwell Basin, and they all have quite distinct characteristics in the fruit flavours. So yeah, we should taste it and see what you think.
Now this has some lead stirrers, 14% alcohol, which is quite high for...
Well, yes, it's only just 14%.
Right, okay.
We could probably get away with 13.5 on the label. But that is the thing with Central Otago. You've hit the nail on the head, because we have such a short growing season and the hot days and the cool nights. You can get quite ripe wine. So that'll be something that we'll work with, and to see if we can, you know, keep it around about 13 or 13.5%. So when you've got high alcohols like that, it's really you've got to really work with the wine so the alcohol is just not the dominating factor. Of the wine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I'm really alcohol sensitive.
Right.
I swallow it and then I get this kind of, even on kind of wines that if they're just slightly out of balance with the alcohol, I feel that burn.
Yeah. Well, you tell me what you think. This has just been bottled for 4 weeks, so it's really...
So I get white peach off of this.
Yes. And that's the thing with Central Otago wines, and even the Sauvignon, I think you get the stone fruits coming through, and you get a really nice citrusy sort of backbone as well.
It's that white peach and also almost a kind of chalky, not kind of like a creaminess, but a chalky character. I grew up in a place in the UK and it was dominated, the soil profile was just chalk.
Right.
And this is what I used to smell as a kid.
Right, okay.
We didn't have peaches, we weren't that exotic.
Yeah. See, I grew up with, well, just out of Arrowtown, so in Central Otago, well, basically, and we had gooseberry bushes. And I get sort of more of the riper gooseberries and the white peaches.
Yeah.
So this is a dry style. It's got
I was going to say it's dry, which is quite nice.
Food wine.
Yeah. Proper Sauvignon. Because that's one of the problems I've been noticing with a lot, not just Marlborough, but a lot of regions when they're making Sauvignon, they tend to leave that kind of little bit of residual sugar in, make it really palatable. I suppose this is kind of like that dry mineral.
Yeah, yes.
For me.
Yeah. With the Locharburn white wines, like they also make a Riesling and a Pinot Gris, and we just started with a little bit of Chardonnay, and they all have this mineral profile, and I actually really appreciate that. So it's about trying to express that in the wine and not overdo it with residual sugar or too much acid. So trying to find the right balance.
No, you're really Pinot focused, aren't you?
Yes.
So I'm expecting big things out of this next one. So being a Pinot girl, how did you find making Sauvignon?
Well, that's a bit of a loaded question.
Yeah.
Sauvignon's one of those varieties I sort of thought, well, you could just make something that's just fruit driven.
Yeah.
And hasn't really got much character, and all you get is these green sort of herbaceous flavours. So I worked quite hard with Chris in the vineyard to get the right amount of exposure in the fruit. So essentially in Central Otago, I think you always get greener flavours and riper flavours. And so it's a matter of trying to get those in balance in the final wine. And so this is the first vintage. So in 2010 was a good vintage. So I've actually really enjoyed it, to answer your question. And it's about, okay, well, let's do something to give it some texture and some complexity.
How big is the vineyard? The whole lot, and then
8 hectares.
8 hectares, the whole lot.
Oh, for the whole lot, but there's a hectare of Sauvignon planted.
So it's not much. No,
but it's just so they've got a nice array of stablemates for their Pinot Noir, which is essentially their flagship wine. Yeah.
I didn't get the alcohol off the end.
That's good.
Yeah. Really good.
What we did is we had we just had three barrels of pressings.
Yeah.
So I put them to barrel, and I tried some different yeasts in each of those barrels, and just did some lees stirring just to add a little bit of complexity, because the pressings of the wine is always a higher pH and a higher brick, so it actually helped balance out the acid of the free run and sort of the more crisper flavours of the free run. I think that's where you're getting some of your white peach notes from. Yeah. And maybe hints of tropical fruits.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on that white peach.
No, that's good. No, I'd actually, that pleases me that you're stuck on that.
And now your flagship grape variety.